Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ears to the East Way, where we're doing one of our little digest episodes where basically each one of us grabbed a song. Doesn't have to be the best or the worst or anything, just be a song that we wanted to talk about today as part of our little listening list of cool songs that we go through once a week. As near as possible once a week. So anyway, yeah, we each picked a song that we want to discuss with the group. It's like an AA meeting the more I think about it. Who are we going to dive in with first today? Who would like to share?
I think you should go first. I don't think you're. I don't usually think you've been first for a while.
Yeah,
so,
true.
yeah, you go first.
Yeah, I usually ask that question.
So please introduce yourself to the group and then talk.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Howard. I'm a coffee addict.
Hello, Howard.
Hello, Howard.
Shut up when I'm talking.
Damn, he's continuing. He's continuing from the last video.
Sorry, I haven't had a coffee for a while. I like Japanese music.
That's okay.
I went for a bit of an oldie this time. I went for Shaka Shine by Wednesday Campanella. So anyone who Wednesday Campanella or Yobi Campanella are kind of synonymous with that interesting mixture of kind of chilled out music, cool beats, interesting production, experimentation, but also catchy choruses, bit of hip hop, bit of singing. And they've become especially famous of recent, especially off the back of the song Edison with Utaha. But Utaha is only the singer of the last few years, and the original singer is the one who features on this song, Shaka Shine, which primarily it's a song that starts off with a very simple beat, builds up from there, and it's interesting because it's a song I've always had a bit of a bias towards. I've always loved it. I love the rhythm of it. There's other reasons that we'll get into in a minute why I like this song so much, but just from a musical level, I just find it so engaging, so fun. But I also kind of recognize that there's not really much going on here. So if you're looking for a big arrangement, if you're looking for a catchy chorus, or if you're just not big into rap, then this is going to be a hard sell. But definitely, for me, if you just like something that feels very raw, very rhythmic, and kind of has a little bit of personality to it as well, which is always the hallmark of a good Wednesday Campanella song, then for me this is just oozing sort of like a real positive energy. So it's like such a hippie thing. Don't worry, I'm not going to get out my earth crystals now. Feel the energy, man. But it's I
get Howard's crystals out.
If that's a euphemism, then it's a terrifying one. They haven't crystallized yet.
Spirit crystals, because it's that chill.
It's like I find this song really engaging, and a lot of it is the personality. But I'll get on to my other reason for liking it once I've spoken to you guys about the musical aspect. First of all, I just wanted to get a feel for what you guys thought about this, whether it was a yes or a no, or what your vibe was for it.
So if I may go first.
You may.
The very first thing I had to think about was, funnily enough, Gwen Stefani, because it just had that simple beat and, kind of that more rap-like vocals over it. I'm not really sure why I went for Gwen Stefani, but that's somehow the first thing that came to my mind.
Point out to everyone at home that we are recording this immediately after that Metalverse video you might have seen, and I feel like Benedict is trying to hurt me.
No, really not. Actually, the thing I was thinking about, I did really like the song, actually.
I wasn't laughing at the comparison. I was just laughing when as soon as you said Gwen Stefani, I knew Howard was not going to like it.
I don't know if you like or dislike her. Probably you don't like it.
Do you have any doubt about it?
Yeah, well, actually, I do, because I think she does a style that is quite
no doubt. Okay,
similar to some of your music.
I haven't got a big thing against a lot of Gwen Stefani's music. I don't really like. It's not much of it is really something that I like, but I don't have like. There's some musicians who I just like find them kind of annoying. I never found her so annoying. It just kind of her stuff never really clicked with me. But yes, there is always a bit of there's always a sense that she's trying to have fun. So I guess that I can definitely get that. And she does play around with like different rhythms and stuff. So in actuality, I can get the reference you're going for. You said Gwen
just
Stefani.
because it's more of that, it's just a simple beat and then her vocal delivery. I mean, like you said, it's not huge masses going on here. It's pretty simple, kind of, but it has a lot of identity to it, which another thing that I don't want to hurt you, Howard, but another thing I had to think about was the Atarashigako song that we talked about, Tokyo Calling, but only in the beginning, because this song has a lot more identity, in my opinion, to it, which is something I'm missing
Thank
about
you.
the Atarashigako song. So
It
yeah.
does have more than one line. That is correct. Yeah, I actually
stopped hurting Howard now.
No, in all fairness, again though, I do get what you mean by that. In that, although to me the two songs feel so diametrically opposite, I do agree that at the core they're both based around the idea of getting you hooked to like a rhythm.
Yeah.
I feel that with the rhythm
More
here,
working with simplicity than complexity, I would say.
yeah, I think maybe one of the twists for me, I always felt like a bit. I've always had a mixed feelings about the twist that happens halfway through the song when the synths start to come in and it starts to become a bit more spaced out towards the end. Because in a way, I like that now that I know that's the way the song goes. But I think when I first heard it, it felt weirdly unnatural for it to suddenly become
not to me
chill
at
out.
all. I had quite a different experience because, as
Okay.
I said in the beginning, if the song would have just stayed like the first half, then it would probably have bored me over the whole period.
I
So I
agree. I
was
think
really
that
glad to hear some change, and I think it really evolved into something else. Yeah.
I like that in a very Wednesday Campanella song, they went in the direction that, at least for me, felt not the one that I expected to go for, because it's such a high impact song. It's not like loud, but it's very high impact at the beginning. You know, it's almost got like almost like a sort of a tribal rhythm kind of thing going on to it. I mean, just yeah, in the video you can see she's marking out by like sort of hitting percussion in the hand right at the beginning.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that the whole way it does that, you kind of feel like you're just going to keep on landing with these sort of impactful sounds and they're going to sort of build and swell, but instead it goes to a much more held notes and it suddenly becomes this, but the beat continues. So yeah, it's a juxtaposition towards the end, but I think in retrospect, now that I listen to it, I like that it does that, because if it had just stayed high impact, it probably would have sounded like it was just struggling to do the same thing over and over again. So yeah, I interesting though that for you it felt right so quickly. But yeah, I see both of your comparisons, and
Did Neon say anything?
I was going to say, did I say anything?
I don't think so.
No, I'm finishing with Benedict's fault, so I can see, because Neon looks like he's about to charge in on this one. So let's go on, Neon.
Yeah. So like I got like really kind of like Miley Cyrus vibes from it. That was a joke. All right, okay. Had to get that one out there. We're saving that one. All right.
All right. Miley Cyrus, Gwen Stefani.
Yeah.
Right.
It had a very Rihanna.
Those notes
had a very Rihanna rhythm to it, and
yeah.
Enjoyed it.
Kind of that Shakira style.
Yeah, Shakira. I'm sure I heard that in the lyrics at some point. Anyway. No, I think when you two were talking about it, I think the one thing that really resonated for me, which I 100% agree with Benedict, was if the song would have stayed like the first 30 seconds of that song was, I think it would have been a dud for me. I kind of came into it a little bit like, oh, okay, this is something. And then it did the beginning bit for a smidge too long for me. And I was like, is this all there is to it? And I was kind of like a little bit like, I'm not too sure if I like this. And then the first shift happened, the first change with the tempo of the drum beat. And then obviously the percussion changed. And then the synths came in. And then there was a lot more to it. Her voice projection changed, the way that she was singing changed slightly. And it all came together really, really well in the end. It was just a bumpy first 30 to 45 seconds where I was kind of listening to it going, is this for me? But in the end, it kind of went into a really, really nice place that I really, really enjoyed. Now, if I was listening to this type of song casually, would I enjoy it? And I think the answer would be yes, but like I said to many songs, I think would I go out of my way to listen to it again after hearing it? Probably not. It is really good for what it is, and I liked the evolution of it. I liked the way that it progressed. I particularly like what Howard said, the ending, the last like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, where it's like a completely different song from what the first 30 seconds was. It's crazy if you just took those two parts away and contrast them against each other. And I liked the way that it developed. I think she's got a really, really nice voice for some of the notes, as well as the way that she was singing when she sped up, when she slowed down. There was a lot of variation there. And I liked her, I liked her attitude. I liked the music video. But she was portrayed really, really well there. She's got a little pizzazz to her. And I liked that. So I think the music video helped sell it to me a little bit more than I originally. But what I will give it credit for, it's not often a song, if I don't like the first 40 seconds, it's kind of hard to change my mind after that. Like those first 40 seconds, I think for me are really, really important. It's very, very rare. And this is one of those really rare songs for me that I kind of came in like 40 seconds in, I was like, I don't know, I'm not too sure about this. And I came away 3 minutes later, like, actually, you know what? I quite like where that went, which is quite a rare thing.
Just before I add a second layer to that, I just wanted to respond to something you said there, because as you mentioned, like the first the first 45 seconds or so wasn't really grabbing you. I'm kind of intrigued that now in retrospect, knowing how it develops, would you enjoy the beginning more in that
Yes.
context? Okay.
Yes.
That's
100%.
interesting. Okay. Okay, I'm going to quickly add a
100%.
second bit of context because I want to move on to your songs as well. One of the reasons why I like this song as well, one of the reasons why it personally vibes really well with me. I think Neon was actually watching this video for the first time whilst we were doing the sound check and everything, and I was trying not to catch his responses so I didn't get too much of a cue. But you mentioned about really liking the video, and the video itself. Now my understanding is that the whole style of the video was taken from another video they'd done before, and they were updating it. But this video was directly, and the song, both are like a love letter to Hokkaido. And the video's filmed almost exclusively in Sapporo City in Hokkaido, which is a place that I still stand by, in my opinion. Sapporo, greatest place in the world. Absolutely love it. And so the lyrics are very much referring to Sapporo. The name, as with a lot of Wednesday Campanella songs, the name is usually a hint to a historic person, and Shakushine is a person from the whole, shall we say, the troubled history of Hokkaido as an island and a neighbor of Japan. But yeah, it's very interesting because they Wednesday Campanella have a great respect for history, but also for like history, for stories, for places. The songs really usually have a lot behind them culturally. They're one of those groups where you can get so much out of like diving into what their lyrics are about. But this was all about Hokkaido, and it's actually quite a cute, funny list of like just fun, stereotypical things from Hokkaido for the best part. But yeah, that's why the music video, the little bit with the food and the little fish eggs, that's like a food item that's very popular from Hokkaido, and all the places were in Sapporo.
Like,
so yeah, it's a bit of a love
Hokkaido
letter to
manju.
Yeah. I actually said this. Sorry.
Nippon manju.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, in a way, it is. There is a similarity in the way that they're both love letters for their place. Totally
Well, it really sold it to me, that place. I actually said this to you as I was watching it. I was like, I actually said, I'm really jealous of the fact that you live there at the minute. I said, and that's your normal day life walking through this.
I wish I lived exactly, because I used to live in that city, and I wish I lived in that city again. I love Tokyo, but Sapporo is like the only place on earth that has like it's the top tier.
It just looked generally lovely. I was watching the video. I was like, oh,
it's a great advert. It works.
It is a great advert. Yeah, you're right.
All right. So next of all, if you don't mind, I'd like to jump onto the one where I think we got a lot of questions about Benedict's song. So shall we jump into this one next? Because we were trying to work out.
Do you want me to talk first, or do you want to say something about it first?
I think we've got a lot of questions.
I feel like we need context. I feel like you need to talk.
Yeah, I feel let's have you talk first, so that maybe you will answer a lot of the questions that we have. So go for it. What song is it? Tell us about it.
So it's the song "A Dreamer" from a game OST from the game Streets of Rage 2. Which I don't know. Are you familiar with that game?
I am.
Let's
Yes.
put it this way. If it rings a bell, and if I'm not familiar with it, it certainly feels like I'm familiar with it. And boy, the 8-bit artwork, I'm all about that.
Actually, I chose this song, but for one reason, I just rediscovered this and I watched a video about a musician who analyzed the soundtrack and he was like wild about it. He was like, "This is so crazy." It's actually from 1992, which I think you should keep in mind when listening to this because back then, yeah, apparently nothing sounded like this. I mean, I was 1 year old when that came out, so I discovered it a bit later. But it was like the first video game which I played, I think when I was around 8 years old, where really the soundtrack stuck in my head. And it was, okay, I just love to play this game because I like the music. And that was something very new to me. And I just, yeah, very much later discovered this is like a Japanese producer. And yeah, that's why I really want to hear your opinions about this song. To me, it has a lot of like Japanese qualities to it, even if it might be hard to hear because of the style of the sound, like the 8-bit sound.
Do you mind if I jump in on this one first, Neil?
Go for it.
Okay. So there's kind of two ways to analyze this, because sorry, you offered up a lot of things there that I found quite interesting. Two ways to analyze it. If I think I might know the channel you're talking about, because there's this one channel that's going around a lot, and the guy is like just talking about like video game music a lot, and he sits and plays at the piano. I think I know the guy.
Yeah, it's that one, I think.
He seems to be wild about everything, is the only thing I say, but I have no problem with that.
It's true.
In regards to this song, I've got to be honest. It was a mixed feeling because it reminded me, on the most positive aspect, it reminded me of exactly what you're saying. I remember, like, I didn't have a huge number of things when I was younger, and I wasn't actually able to buy music, or like, because we obviously only had physical media when I was a boy. Wasn't able to buy music until I left home age 15. We had no like CD players or anything. So it was weird. Like the only music I had was music through the radio. And therefore the only music I actually owned in a weird way, now I come to think about it, was the music on this tiny little black and white Game Boy I had. So in a way, I did form a bit of a love for chiptune quite young, because it was like the only music that I could on demand get to play back over and over again. Stick in your headphones, have a listen. So yeah, I absolutely get that. And a lot of the things that are nice about chiptune, apart from the fact it's got that warm feeling to it, that warm sound to it, also because it's so simple, the tones are so simple, the harmonies are very crisp, everything sounds crisp. It's, in the way that we like to slag off anything that sounds like MIDI as sounding cheap, the truth is that 8-bit is kind of like, it just highlights that, those computerized sounds can sometimes be quite warm and simple and joyous, in the same way that 8-bit art looks kind of comforting because it's just so simplified. So all of those things I felt about this, and I can totally feel how you felt about that hearing this song, because I've listened back to some old 8-bit songs I used to like, and I listen to them now, I think maybe wasn't as good as I quite remember, but still was good. When I heard this, I was like, yeah, as a song, it was nice. I liked it. It did sort of like go round and then repeat and then repeat and then repeat.
Yeah, sure. It's a loop because
yeah, it's like
level over and over again until you finish the level.
Yeah, 1992, Howard. Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm a dick. What can I say?
You could probably just take one loop.
I was like, yeah, when I realized that of the short play time, probably a quarter of it was. Yeah, I did like it. It's one of those things where I found it warm and nostalgic in what it was, but I think it's one of those ones where I would kind of encourage anyone watching this right now to either obviously click on the link, listen to it, but also in your head, just imagine what the 8-bit song was that you heard and imagine how you feel about that. Because that's kind of the way I looked at this. It's like, this song doesn't have any nostalgia for me, but I can feel that it probably had nostalgia for someone else. Because musically, it's just like, it's nice, simple. That's about it. But I feel
does it
like
sound Japanese to you? Or like, yeah.
But that's a really good question. You did
Because
actually say
when
that.
I listen to the whole soundtrack, and it has quite a few songs like this, and to me, I don't want to take anything away from Neon, but kind of has a lot of groovy funkiness to it. And a lot
Don't
of
say
songs
future
do.
funk. Don't say future funk.
No, I don't. I would say Getcherik Spin, because I was wondering, do I like Getcherik Spin so much because of this early like, or like funk in general, because I do have these early funky influences that I didn't even realize at the time that they were funk.
I suspect it's. I mean, it's not. It's not like really funky. It's got like a little bit of a funk, a bit of a shuffle
Yeah.
to it. Um, I I don't know whether I would necessarily. This is the thing. I think this is where it becomes a chicken and egg thing. And by the way, if anyone ever says what came first, chicken and egg, the answer is obviously the egg, because the egg was there before the chicken evolved into being a chicken. Ha! Right. I'm sorry. Always have to be right.
Tons of
But
comments now.
yeah, in regards to this particular song, it is that sort of thing where it's like, what came first? It's like, so 8-bit music, primarily we think of all the great 8-bit music, it's like Nintendo music written by Japanese writers, I assume. So where did their influences come from? If they were influenced by Western music, does that make 8-bit still quintessentially Japanese? Some 8-bit songs sound like traditional Japanese music. Does this one? No, not so much to me. But does that mean it doesn't have Japanese influence? It's a very hard web to pick apart when you're in this area. I would say that nothing about it jumped out and screamed Japanese music to me. But I do think that there are Japanese artists I listen to now who were influenced by 8-bit music, who I would go, oh yeah, well, yeah, so you sound Japanese because you're influenced by, yeah, it's a whole web.
So
I
it
don't know
kind
where
of
I'd go.
evolved around the back. I
Yeah,
get what you mean. Yeah.
It probably is, but I just don't know where to stop that line and say it's Japanese, or does it just run onto something else? Yeah, it's too difficult, but I can get what you mean, even if I can't answer it. Neon.
I think you pretty much covered everything I can even say. I think you two chatted for so long that I was kind of like, I got nothing else more to add. Being probably more of the gamer, I think I clicked on a little bit more before Howard did, where I was like 40 seconds into it, and I was like, I knew instantly this was going to loop. I said that as I was listening to it when I was like,
stopwatch is out.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what's going on here. I really, really like it. I think it's a bit of a weird one, actually, to be honest, because I always think of Streets of Rage as like more sort of like Americanized. Maybe that's just the popularity from what I can remember when that kind of came out. Yes, I'm fucking old, Jesus. And that's kind of what I think of. I kind of think of a more Western thing than Japanese music. Listening to it, I thought it was really, really good. But then I feel like that's just probably just me, because when I think of like Japanese sounding like soundtracks, I often think of like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest and things like that in my head when I think of like really, really old school 8-bit. But I remember as well, again, I've said this multiple times, but for me, what's really nostalgic, and I understand where Benedict's coming from with nostalgic game things, because I still have the Metal Gear dun 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 dun,
Oh,
like literally ingrained.
Even I know that.
Yeah, ingrained in my fucking mind. It doesn't leave. Or the Konami entry. Can anybody remember the old Konami intro?
No.
I don't know.
I'm thinking not of Konami, I'm thinking of Konami from Bandmate.
Yeah, no, Konami, sorry. And
yeah, but there's so many, like the Mortal Kombat theme or something.
Yeah, there's so many themes that are just
the point,
in my head. Like I'm pretty much like Benedict now, and I try to go to sleep. You know, the meme where your brain's like, "Hey, Neon, are you sleeping? It's 3 o'clock." And it's like, well, if you're awake, then here's the Mortal Kombat theme from 1991.
If you're just jumping out of bed and like shadow boxing on top of your bed while your missus is like, "What the fuck are you doing?" You're just shooting fireballs.
I know, yeah. I'm like, oh no. I don't have that same nostalgic feeling probably Benedict's done with Streets of Rage, and that is probably just because I didn't play Streets of Rage all that much. I didn't play Streets of Rage.
Probably more because I played that so much.
Yeah. So I feel like that's
quick interjection. Apparently it's an acclaimed soundtrack, originally by Yuzo Koshiro, who did the first one. Yes. And then when the second game came out, there was a secondary writer called Motohiro Kawashima, who I don't know if they were involved in this track or other tracks, but just thought I'd add that. So yeah, it seems like one guy was very much at the core of this. And yes, apparently it's a Japanese
Yeah.
series. The name's kind of
Yeah, like I said, I don't really have any nostalgic attachment to Streets of Rage because it was just it was one of the very few games I didn't play as a kid. Like yeah, that's really weird. I know so much when it comes to like video game music, but that is one of the very few where I just it slipped through the cracks a little bit. I did enjoy it though. I thought it was really, really good. I agree with Howard though. Like I said, once you know when the loop starts and the loop ends, it kind of gets a bit
I don't disagree on
repetitive.
that.
But yeah, no, again, I liked it. I did like it. I had to do a double check though when you requested it. I was like, is this Benedict's request?
Yeah.
I was like,
leading up to this, like Neil was just staring through. He was like,
I'm like visible confusion on my face. I was like, is he being serious? I'm like, did I miss something?
We did a video about video game music like months ago. Maybe we should revisit this subject because this is actually quite an interesting subject. So maybe we should come back to this at some point. Maybe next week we'll all suggest video game music that we like. That'd be kind of cool. We do that one for next
I think
week.
I wasn't thinking so much about like very old like 8-bit music back then because yeah, it's not real music for everyone. You know what I mean?
Do you know what another track is in my head? Fucking Tetris.
Not real instruments.
Again, it just like I wake up at 3 a.m. and I'm just like
just starts rearranging his like bedroom, like moving
that actually
towards one wall and turning them and like slotting them into position.
There's some great fucking 8-bit songs though throughout the years. So good.
It's a great test of a good song though, because if you've got to rely on 8-bit, you've got to write a good song.
You do.
You haven't got anything to hide behind. It's like you've got to have a good song if you're going to do it in 8-bit. So yeah, like I remember like actually like the old Super Mario Land games. I can't remember exactly how they went, but they had some good soundtrack. It wasn't that one. It was there were I don't know enough about the Mario games, but there was one
There's so
series
many now, yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. Who knows? Anyway, so anything we want to add to that, or shall we dive into our last entry?
I like it.
Let's do it.
I'm up for it. I'm up for a more video game episode. So yeah, I would with that.
Let us know in the comments, and we might revisit that. Okay, so I really, really want to dive in on this one, but first of all, let's let the man himself, the suggester himself, go first. Because the song is called "I'll Go First." Sorry,
I thought he was going to say. I thought he was going to go start singing "Go Worst." Just the way that he set that up.
We have some
Neon
fundamental misunderstandings of each other, Neon.
Yeah, just the way that you held on to that "go" note for so long. I was like, is he going to say "Go West"? Go Worst.
I just showed off my operatic skills without even knowing it.
No, this was requested to me on my last community night, and I really love this song. The reason why I wanted to pick this is because they're a relatively unknown band. First EP, again, they got like 700 subscribers at the time of recording this, and I just loved absolutely everything about this song. It's craziness. What I will say, I feel like for the first minute of this song, the mix is slightly off with the opening. I've got to say that's one thing I'm not. I feel like the voice is like turned up a little bit too high in the mix for the first like 30 seconds, but then it sorts itself out after that. But I just thought it was a really, really great song. I love the video. I love the campiness of it. It was cute. It was quite hardcore as well. It was just a really, really fun find. And the more I keep listening to the song, the more I keep really, really, really liking it as well. And the band is called ALMONDot, I think, something like that. I don't know.
It is yeah, just to clarify what I got in front of me, it says almond, all capitals, and then OT, small letters but without a space. So it's obviously supposed to be read as ALMONDot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's spelled all as one. So it's one of those ones where they really want you to not understand what their name is.
What their name is, I know. Jesus. But yeah, I just really, really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed this song. Fuck me, we've got like less than 10 minutes left. You two been shine. But yeah, I love music. I know all the video game bits. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. I don't want to say too much about it because I want you two to kind of let me know how you.
Okay. So Benedict, do you want to jump in on this first of all?
Yeah, sure. There we go. I actually really enjoyed that as well. Like Neon said, has all the elements that I like about music in general. Like my favorite styles of music, very chuggy, very heavy, but also kind of sweet with the vocals. I actually didn't find the vocals or like the mixing disturbing in the beginning, or like didn't. Yeah, I actually like that because it gave it that kind of more punky, raw edge in a way. And yeah, but like you said, it kind of went through all those parts, you know, very catchy. And I definitely would like to hear this again. And I would recommend to you again, because I think you still haven't listened to it, Little Lilith Strike, because that's kind of what I had to think about. Also, a group that combines a lot of those similar elements.
Yeah, link me the link in the group chat. I'll do the video on that one.
It's more heavy, but still.
I like heavy things.
I know.
So
Yeah,
Luke
so
would love
overall, I
this
think it's a
whisper
really great
between you
song,
both.
group.
I know,
Hero
I know.
thinks, so do I. Should have like an app for like where metalers can fall in love and meet, you know.
Well, you know, there's an old little saying that you can meet a metal guy in a metal bar and you instantly they're your best friend for that entire gig, you know.
Well, in all fairness, you've kind of like managed to narrow down who you're going to meet by going and meeting a metaler in a metal bar.
Yeah, well, yeah, but no, it's just a lovely community.
All right. Okay, ALMONDot. With their song, what was it called? I'll go first, comma, sorry. All right. What to say about this song?
And remember, guys, to keep your ears
this band is going to be massive. This is absolutely brilliant. This is No, this is so
unexpected.
That was unexpected.
They are definitely, if they hold this together, they're going to be massive. I mean, they need to do something about that name. But I mean, the whole direction of this creatively is so like, it's so energetic, it's so colorful, it's so powerful, but at the same time it had like the rock thing. I was kind of reminded, I mean, to give you an example, I was reminded a lot of the Hannah Beer energy of like, we're cute, we're cowy. I mean, the way they threw into that dance move halfway through the song, it had all of those things. Now, yes, it isn't quite on the experiment writing level that something like Hannah Beer is at this point, but it's still got enough that you can enjoy it. It's a good song, and it shows the sign of a band who I gather from everything I've read are relatively new. They've given all the indication that they have enough writing ability to build on this, and who knows where it will go, but this is a very strong start. And furthermore, and I say this again with all the love in the world to like metal fans and to Hannah Beer, but obviously stuff like the scream element in Hannah Beer is a barrier for some people. You know, it's one of those things where as much as I love Hannah Beer, I love them, but I also accept that I love them and I kind of deal with that aspect. But this is a band who I was waiting for this song to break into screams at any moment. I was like, well, you know,
me too.
They got all of that. They're going to do it any moment. And when it did, when it didn't break into screams, again, I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't have worked, but just for me, I was like, I just felt like, okay, yeah, we're kind of more on the page. It feels like you're being crazy, but you're still managing to appeal to everyone. This felt to me like, whereas Hannah Beer feels like metal meets crazy, this felt like rock meets crazy. This was like, this was kind of like if Hannah Beer are doing something of an update of maybe what Baby Metal had done before, this is almost like an update of what Bandmate are doing. I'm not saying it's the same sort of music at all, but it's kind of like, this is hard rock being crazy for yet a new generation, you know. Don't worry, I'm not relegating Bandmate people, but I think this is the kind of thing where if they stick to it, if they keep this ethic, and if they don't get complacent, this is a really good indication of something that could definitely take off.
I got to ask a question. Is this a case of like, you know, this is one of the bands, you know, that's going on the Howard back a broadcast channel? This is why it's so overly positive, because you can't say negatively.
By the way, here's my interview.
Yeah. Have I stepped on something here? Jesus, this is overwhelmingly, sickingly sweet. That I'm like, I'm getting suspicious now.
Can I be honest with you? Actually, no, that wasn't the case. I had already listened to the band to listen to. They were on my list. I hadn't actually listened to them until I heard this song. But the minute I heard this song, I immediately got their contact details and I'm writing them an email tonight. So yeah, they they are absolutely on the list. It's like, yeah, just the minute I heard this, I was like, yep, okay, we're dragging them into the studio. So yeah, I
really
will
want to
be
hear that
shooting
song
them off a
again now.
message.
Because to me,
It's-
the
yeah.
core of this song, I would have said it's a metal song. And you describe it so much as rock, which I obviously agree. That's a lot of elements of that in there. But to me, I would say the base of it was a metal song. But I will have to listen to it again.
I think there is an arbitrary line sometimes between the two, and this kind of sits on that line.
Yeah, I definitely would be Benedict on this one. I'd lean more towards calling it metal than rock. But then again, yeah, it's very
But I
close
mean,
to
that
either.
just kind of shows it has so many elements in it that you can just pick what you like, basically.
Like I
It
said,
all kind of still
I
works together.
yeah, I love these type of requests because I get them all the time, and I just love it when one really, really pops out so much that I just personally love it. And this has just been on repeat for me. Like I've listened to this like so many times. For like
I will definitely save that name. Yeah.
they need way more subscribers and way more views than it's got.
I'm going to listen to more of their songs and be terrified. Like, please don't scream in this one, please.
And like I said, I just really enjoyed it. It's nice sometimes because I feel like sometimes I don't know if you two get this, but sometimes we do this all the time. It can feel like a job sometimes. So it's really nice sometimes when a band really sticks out and you just really fucking love it and you get giddy and stuff like that. And this was one of those bands for me where I was like, I generally can't stop listening to this over and over and over and over until Jade comes in and fucking whacks me over the head and goes, "Can you?"
And the video was really fun as well. I mean, everything about it just oozed good energy. It rocked, but it was good. And yeah, I in response to what you say, I don't know if I ever quite as much feel that it gets to be a job, but there are some times where I'm like, I don't know, like you listen to some songs, you go, oh, this is good, but it doesn't really do anything for me. And that's one of the great things about Japanese music is even the bad stuff tends to not be that bad.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Isn't at least enjoyable. But like when you hear something like this, it's the difference between, oh, here's some more good music. And this is one of the ones where you go, whoa, stop the presses. Let's have a little talk about this. I think I might have just stumbled across something here. So once again, like he did with Adar, Neon is bringing the hot takes. So
yeah, I mean that's the difference. That's what I really like. There's a lot of reaction channels and a lot of like channels out there that they purely do this stuff for the views and because they know what's trending and stuff like that. Like I love the fact that all three of us stick to our bands that we personally love just because we personally like it. The amount of people I'm like who keep telling me
things that we have something to talk
new
about.
Stuff.
Yeah, we can discover new stuff, but we generally cling on to the stuff that we like as well. And we don't just move on for views or clicks or whatever shit like that. We generally like fall in love with these bands, and that's what I like about this. That's why I love you guys. Love you guys.
Oh, we love you too. So Benedict, as we love you,
Neon.
and there's only a minute left. Do you want to say something? Because we haven't let you talk for like the last 10 minutes. So anything you want to say in the final 1 minute of time we have left?
Do you mean me? No, it's fine.
You're the only Benedict with.
All good. I'm just feeling flattered by Neon's compliments. So
Aw.
go ahead.
I noticed, by the way, you suddenly went through this lean, like, yeah, love me, love me.
Whoa, baby.
What has this
No,
channel
like I said,
become?
actually, I really, really like that song, and I will definitely check out more of them. So yeah, I kind of
I got
agree
my
with
fingers
Howard.
crossed.
I think pretty damn good song.
Yeah.
If it's all that good, then we're all set. But anyway, we've only got 15 seconds. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember to keep your ears to the east.
Someone has to click.
Click the button, god damn it! I've got a fucking armband on.
Why golf?
What's that?
Ah!